Gospel.
I I always start off by saying I'm excited to have a gentleman here from all the way from uh, Louisiana in America, um, and he is one of my favorite MCs. Uh, did an album last year. Well, in fact, yeah, last year. He's the rapper, I'm the Christian, which was absolutely amazing. I know some of you have heard that. We play uh, No Photos of Jesus on our show, on my show a lot. I play that a lot, and I'm just so excited to have Dee-1 with me. Good afternoon or good morning to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you having me. I'm just excited to be talking to you.
Thank you so much. Now, I just wanted to ask a question. First of all, when did you jump into? Because the people say, like for instance, I jumped into hip hop and rap. I like to call it rap, hip hop, but I jumped into the culture in 1979. So I've seen it grow. I've seen it grow from the parties into the mainstream, through the MC Hammers and then the Tribe Called Quest and even the NWAs up until now. So where did you jump into hip hop and fall in love with hip hop?
Well, I fell in love with hip hop as a child. So I fell in love in the 1990s. That's when I was growing up. So as I was a young kid, you had artists like Nas and Jay-Z and DMX, and you had from New Orleans, you had Cash Money Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had all of these artists, and that was when I was growing up. So I really fell in love with hip hop as a child. It was the only music that I was really listening to, me and my friends. But then I fell in love with it from an artist perspective as a college student. So now we're in the 2000s, and once I became a college student, I found myself. I was like so enchanted with the idea of, wait, I can actually record music the same way that my favorite artists have music that's recorded, and they have CDs and they have mixtapes and albums. I can actually do that. And when my friend put me on to the idea of recording equipment and like, bro, we can record ourselves. Like this is something we're able to do. I was just like, bro, this is amazing. So I started off rapping as a college student, man, and I fell in love with it the first time I did a live show. That I always tell that story. The first time I did a live show, I'm holding the microphone in my hand. It's a talent show on my college campus. There's about 400 or 500 people in the crowd, and in that moment, it was just like, yo, this microphone is so powerful because whatever I say on here has the ability to entertain people, or it has the ability to bore people, or it has the ability to speak life into them, or it has the ability to speak poison into them. And I realized the power of that microphone, and I fell in love with the microphone and the art of hip hop being used as a tool and as a weapon to do good, you know what I mean, and to kill evil. So that's when I fell in love with it, bro. First time I performed as a college student, and I lost that talent show. By the way, I didn't win the talent show. I didn't win first, second, or third place, but I fell in love with the art form that night.
So obviously you're a Christian, but how would you describe yourself um, as an artist? How do you label yourself and your music?
So I leave it up to the fans to label me. Once they check me out, they're smart enough to form their own opinion. Honestly, like I don't think it's my job to label myself. I think it's my job to create the music and let everybody else do the labeling. You know.
That's uh, that's an interesting answer. Normally people say, yeah, I'm a Christian, but I think that's a very interesting answer. Um,
Yeah, like I don't know, as a creator and as an artist, labeling yourself feels like that's outside of your job description. It seems like that's up to the critics, that's up to the writers, that's up to the fans to label you. My job is to be a communicator and to be a teacher and to be a motivator, you know, like to be a minister, uh, to be a mentor, you know, to be an artist. Like that's what I'm supposed to do. So as far as labeling myself, that's never been something I really concern myself too much with, and it's worked out up until this point, man. Like it's really worked out. That's why you said something before we started recording that really caught my ear. You said that some people in the UK may wonder, like, is he even a Christian? Like this guy Dee-1, like what is he? And I was like, wow, like you know, we should be judged by the fruit that we produce. And I feel like if anyone doesn't just look at maybe the fact that I have dreadlocks or the fact that I might wear bandanas or that I wear hoodies or you know, I don't know if people are looking at the fruit that I'm producing or if they're looking at the way I appear on a picture or something like that, you know. So I think that that's why that song "No Photos of Jesus" that Murs and I made, that's why that song is so powerful because it's like the character of Christ is what is most important. And I also feel like, you know, for me, I've experienced that as well. I've experienced discrimination or uh, uh, stereotypes based on just where I'm from or how I look, man. And it's like, golly, bro, like look at the fruit I'm producing. Go listen to my catalog, and it speaks for itself, you know. And I'm confident with what it'll speak to you.
Well, I mean, for me, it definitely speaks for itself. I want to talk about this album. He's the rapper, and I'm the Christian. Murs is one of my favorite MCs. I have pockets of MCs, but he's one of my favorites. His flow, his metaphors, just the way he just comes out with stuff, and the way that he thinks very differently from your, how could I say, he's just different, period. Now, how did you connect with him and why?
I connected with Murs 10 years ago on Twitter. We first connected because I did a song called J50 and Wheezy. It's a song where I was calling out Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Lil Wayne. And I was really challenging them to be more conscious of the type of messages that they were putting into their music and how it was affecting the youth, you know, specifically the youth. Because I was a teacher at the time. I don't know if you know that, but I was a middle
Yeah,
school teacher.
yeah.
Yeah. So when I did that song, it went viral and it got a lot of attention from the hip hop industry. And Murs was one of the MCs who really showed me love and who really supported that song. So once I saw that he and I connected, I went to one of his shows and we connected in person. And we really formed a friendship. We are 10 years later, man, and we are real life friends. So us doing an album together, it felt it felt like a natural evolution to our friendship because we already, bro. Sometimes we get on the phone and we talk for 3 hours on the phone. You know, I know his wife and his kids. He knows so much about what I've been through as an artist, and he's given me advice, and I've given him advice, and we filmed a movie together called Mall Dogs. So doing an album, it just made sense, you know, and not only an album, but a really dope album. You
Yeah.
know, like that's the thing. We didn't just want an album. We wanted to do a really dope album, man, and I think we succeeded.
Most definitely. I mean, the album is the concept of that album is just so powerful. It's, as you guys would say, it's so dope. It is so powerful. And I have that on, that's on my iPhone. That's on constant. Just everything about it. I actually, when I heard that you guys were getting together, I actually thought Ninth Wonder was probably gonna get involved.
Got
So
you. So yeah, because Murs collaborates with Ninth Wonder a lot, and I know Ninth Wonder. We have a good rapport, and the producer who we got to do the whole album, his name is Curtis King, and he's actually a brother who he comes from the lineage of a Ninth Wonder because Curtis
Yes.
King, yeah, like
Yeah.
Curtis King is very eclectic and very diverse. He's great with samples. You know, we used a lot of samples on this album. We were able to get the samples cleared, uh, you know, via the service TrackLive, and it was just awesome to work with Curtis King. So shout out to him as well. But yeah, Ninth Wonder, man, I would love to work with Ninth. Now that I think about it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean that would be, I think that would be the icing on the cake, really, for me personally.
Mhm.
Um, he's one of my favorite new school producers. I'm very old school. I grew up on Pete Rock and Primo and Q-Tip. So I pretty much like that sound as well as the Kanye and Just Blaze.
Just Blaze,
Um,
yeah, okay, okay,
yeah, so I'm pretty much that's where my brain is at.
gotcha.
Is there any more artists like Murs that you would like to collaborate with?
Yeah, I have a collab album done with the producer Manny Fresh from New Orleans. So he's a legend. You know,
Oh, definitely.
he's a hip hop legend. So we have a whole project done together. So I'm excited for that to come out. Um, that'll hopefully be coming out in 2021. And other than that, as far as artists, you know, I find myself I'm turning a corner right now to where I want to collaborate with more artists than I ever have because I have friendships with a lot of these artists, and I'm like, wow, we're friends, but we don't have any music together. So now, and I'm okay with that usually, but now I'm like, it'll be cool because when you look back at your catalog as an artist, you want it to be reflective of your real life experiences. And if I'm
Hmm.
really friends with certain artists, I'm like, I would love to look back at my catalog and see that not only was I friends with these people, but we did some music together. So I have a whole long list of artists that I want to collab with. And 2021 is the year where I'm reaching out to initiate this to make this stuff happen.
So you did the track where you called out Jay Z um, and
50 Cent and
Wayne
Lil
50
Wayne.
Cent. Now, if they said, "Hey, let's sit down, let's break bread, let's come up with a concept, a song," is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
Yes. I love to. I love to, like you said, break bread, sit down and talk about some solutions to what's going on in our world. What problems need fixing, and then if that leads to music, I would love that because I just want to say I did a song with them. I like for collaborations to actually have a personal element to it, to where we actually have a conversation, uh, or we have a rapport, you know, or we have a mission that we're both on. I like for that to lead the way when it comes to collabing with artists. So I would love to do that.
Okay. So I also found out that you are the first rapper in history to become a governor. Can we talk about that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I didn't become a governor. I became an appointee of the
Appointee
governor.
governor. Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
yeah.
go. Yeah, I've become an appointee of the
That's the
governor.
next stage.
That's the next. Oh, my man said I'm the governor. Governor Dee-1. That's right. The governor of Louisiana. So the governor of Louisiana, John Bell Edwards, he has appointed me to the Louisiana Council on the Success of Black Men and Boys. This is a special council that he's put together with very accomplished individuals, dynamic thinkers, and leaders in the state of Louisiana. And he has appointed me to this council, which is a huge honor, very prestigious. And I'm the first rapper in Louisiana history to ever become an appointee of the governor. Yep. So I'm I'm very I'm very excited because what it's doing right now is it's showing that hip hop doesn't have boundaries to it. You know, being a hip hop artist has not stopped me. It has actually helped me to get into other spaces and into other arenas that I may have never gotten into. You know, if I was just a middle school teacher, if I was still just a middle school teacher, I can pretty much guarantee you that me, David Augustine Jr., I would not be on the Louisiana Council for the success of Black men and boys. I wouldn't. But me being Dee-1 and me having a large public platform to be able to showcase my heart and the fruit that I am out here producing through the work that I'm doing, that that has helped open doors for me. So people look at hip hop as if it's something very insular and something that can limit you in life. I know my mom really thought at first when I wanted to be a rapper, she thought that it was uh, not the best use of my talents, you know, as a man and as a human being. And I have worked hard over time to prove to her that hip hop is actually gonna open more doors for me than anything else I could have done. And you know, I made a new song. I have a new single out. It's called High Mom.
Hi, ma'am.
And,
Yeah.
and it's a song where I'm basically speaking to my mother saying, Mom, all the fears that you had about me becoming a rapper or if I would be able to make it or not, or if I would be successful, if I would lose myself in the process of becoming, you know, a public figure, I've proven to you that I still have my integrity, I still have my morals, my character is intact, and I'm successful. And that's why I did that song High Mom. So that's out right now. That's my most recent single.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been playing that one. That's a great song, and also been playing the new album Timeless as well. Uh, that's completely different to the one with Murs, and that's what I like about you. Your every album is different, and you evolve and keep it moving, which is wonderful. Tell me about that album.
So I'm glad you asked me. So for those who don't know, or who have not been longtime fans of Dee-1, and you might just be getting to know Dee-1, the album Timeless is actually a compilation of a lot of my old songs from the year 2011, 2012, and 2013. If you notice, those years that was before Tidal and Apple Music and Spotify were the primary platforms to put your music on. So these were songs that I did back then, but I never put them on the streaming platforms. I just put them on free mixtapes that I used to give out, you know. So I wanted to take some of my best songs from back then. Those songs are almost 10 years old, bro.
Wow.
And I put them all on one album. And the reason why I called it Timeless is because I did a social experiment. I didn't tell anyone when I put this album out, I didn't tell anyone that these were old songs. And I wanted to see if people would hear the music and if they would say, hey, D, this doesn't sound as good as your new stuff, or this doesn't really catch my ear the way some of your other stuff does. And I wanted to see what the reaction was. And I had so many reactions of people saying, bro, this is amazing. You keep getting better and better, bro. This is the best stuff you've ever done. Your new stuff is amazing. And I did that, and I took screenshots of all of these comments, and then I put it out there to show people that when you're an artist and you go into the booth and you have a mission to make music that is timeless, not trendy, but timeless, music that is from the heart, that will never grow old, you will see that your music will never get played out or outdated. And I just proved it by putting out music that was almost 10 years old. And I didn't tell anyone, and all of my new fans who didn't know me back then, they thought that this music was brand new and they were extremely pleased and impressed by it. So I did that to prove to other artists that when you make timeless music, your music will never get played out.
Yeah, I thought that it was an amazing album, and I just thought it just sounds there's a difference to it. And it kind of, I mean, from someone who's been into hip hop from that time, it was like I was like, okay, it felt to me like you had sat down and you said, okay, I want to do an album which is me, which just
Mm,
says me. This is what I like. I don't care. I'm not trying to follow a trend. This is
mhm.
me. And that's what I got from it. You know, that's what
Yeah.
I got from it. So,
Yeah, hey, I have to say you made a great point because when I made those songs that are on my album Timeless, when I originally recorded and wrote those songs, I was at a place in my life where um, I had just stopped being a teacher, so I was brand new to being a full-time hip hop artist. I was still a Christian, but I was not really reaching the Christian uh, hip hop fan base with my music. You know, I was just kind of existing in the mainstream hip hop space, and people kind of didn't know, like, what is this guy? You know, we don't really know, what he is. And I was like, you know what? Um, I'm I'm just making music that's reflective of, like you said, who I am, and I'm not trying to appeal to a certain audience with this stuff. I'm just making music that feels natural to me. None of it is anything that I'm ashamed of. None of it is anything that my pastor would be mad at me about, But this is just music about real life situations that I have overcome and that I'm going through, and the range of emotions that you experience as a human. And I just made music from that perspective back then. And yeah, so when I put that out, it really sounded different from, I guess, the music I would do now. I guess, how would you describe the music that I do now?
I'd say the music that you do now is very much, you're putting me on the spot now.
Yeah,
I would,
interviewing you.
I would say it's very, I, it's very clever. Um, and I think what you do best is that you hit a trend, but then you kind of make it a little bit left. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? It's like
Yeah,
you would hit a trend, what's going now, but then you say, yeah, I'm not gonna go there. Let me go over there with the trend just a little bit. So it's very different. We always get something different. I can't say that you sound like Hit Boy or your music sounds like Hit Boy. If it does, then it sounds like Hit Boy, but you've thrown a bit of this into it. Or does that
gotcha.
make sense?
Yeah. It's different, but I aim to be different but dope. Like, I want to be different, but I want to be dope. Because if you're just different, but it's not necessarily dope, then what are you what are what are you really accomplishing? But when you're different and you're dope, then you set new trends. And when you set new trends, then people always say, yo, that guy right there, he's one to watch because
Yeah.
he's gonna he's gonna always make it exciting. And that's my goal.
Yeah, man. Now, just very quickly, how can people get hold of you if they want to connect with you via the socials?
Yeah, yeah. Social media. All of my social media handles are at D1 Music. DEE, the number one music. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's D1 Music. Um, and outside of that, if you're just looking to stream my music on all streaming platforms, you just search D1, DEE dash the number one, and you'll see my whole catalog pop up. So um, I'm excited. I'm excited because the UK is obviously some of the most die-hard hip hop fans, like in the entire world exist in the UK. So I'm thankful for this, man. I'm thankful to know that I'm on y'all radar. And after COVID, I can't wait to come back. I can't wait to come back there and do some more live events and concerts and speaking engagements. And I want to get in the hood and go into the communities and just be able to use anything God has given me to be able to be a vessel, for others to extract motivation from.
Dee-1, thank you so much for your time. And it has been a wonderful experience speaking to you. Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you. Much love to you.
Premier Gospel.